Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's resume our complete beginner's guide to Wartales, shall we? We're on the large world map at this point, and you can drag this around by holding right click, and you kind of left click to move, and the mouse cursor will change if there is something you can do, like for example, look at this signpost, and it tells you west is Stromcap and east is the Tiltron Jail, and we want to go to Stromcap. Now, there's also a barrel right here, and you could click on these things, and, well, that's 5 cloth. That's actually excellent, so I'm just going to take all of it by right-clicking it, and there's all sorts of things to look for on the road. You can go to this location, the Plateau Stables, by walking over to it, and once you get close enough, you will enter into a area here. And remember, you can hold Alt to see what you can interact with. So there's a barrel back here, there's 2 people here, and there are these ponies. And you can look at this if you want, but you can look inside the barrel. You'll see there's fish oil and there's wheat. But the X down here in the lower left corner means that if you take this, as it says down here, you will be stealing it. And so that's up to you. I don't recommend it. I don't want to build any suspicion. So I'm just going to say no thank you. And I'm going to talk to Jacanus.
Although the war in Edarin has been a boon for my business, I cannot help but feel for my poor ponies.
Yes, I understand.
I can tell you aren't soldiers. Take them with you if you can. Otherwise, they would most likely end up dead on the battlefield through no fault of their own.
Okay, so the first time I came here, I thought she was giving them to me because she says take them with you. But she's not, because the only way you can get these is to buy them. So if I click on Pony, for example, you can adopt this, and it'll cost me 180. So it's not a bad price. It's just be aware that you're not getting it for free. Now you can inspect the pony, and you could check it out, its stats, its skills, its health, and everything, to make the best decision that you can about a pony if you want one. But I'm just going to click leave. Now this guy, Wireless.
When I think of how many people don't shoe their ponies, it makes me want to pull out the little hair I have left.
All right, Wireless, I understand. He sells horseshoes, and these are actually pretty nice because they increase your movement speed in the world by 3%, so it just means you get around faster. Now, why would that matter? That matters because every day that passes, you have to feed your army. And you'll see in the upper right, I have 72 food, which is worth 4 days, but it costs money to supply food, and the longer we take to get places, the more we're out and about, the longer time it's taking to get around, and we will be wasting money on food and paying wages. So moving around fast is actually pretty nice. Now, whether or not it's worth 50 gold of the 200 crowns, rather, that we have, I'm not really sure about that. So I'm just going to say, no thank you.
Buy a horse from us, and I'll throw in the horseshoes for free.
But wait a minute. It gets better. He's actually going to throw in a horse for free. So if we buy a horse, he gives us the horseshoe. So that's 250 crown value. Well, I guess it's really a 180 plus 50, 230 crown value. So it's a nice discount. And I actually like having 2 ponies, but you don't have to buy it right away. The more ponies that we have, the more carry capacity. If I open my inventory by pushing I, you can see I can hold up to 84, but if I add another mount, or another pony, I should say, it'll add to this and let us carry around more, but we're not really suffering. So you push escape to leave a location that you've gone inside, and I'm going to keep traveling. Now you'll notice that if I look around, the map is all black from the fog of war, and if I push M to open the map, you can see here is the stable, and there's a little exclamation point, there's a quest, and that quest is basically buy a pony and get a horseshoe, from what I understand. Now, all of this that's in black is the fog of war, and as we travel, we will uncover this. The white cone is the area that we're facing, or rather the area that the camera is facing and what we can see on the game screen. And you can see our group is actually facing up the road. So I'm going to push escape, and I'm actually going to follow the road itself because I want to go to Stromcap. And you can see this pop-up that says progress made in the discovery here has given us a knowledge point. So I'll stop and I'll click on this. Sure, we got a knowledge point. The first thing you want, in my opinion, is run. Run lets you hold shift just to move faster on the world map. You can use it in a pinch to escape a pursuer, but I just use it all the time to travel faster. So I'm going to learn it right away for 1 knowledge point. You see it turns green, and all we have to do now is hold shift when we're on the world map to run. And you have a stamina bar when you're running, just like in Zelda, for example, and you just can't exceed that wheel. And you rest and it will replenish. But let's go into the town because this is where the magic happens. So once you enter the town, you zoom in a little bit and you could see there's some merchants traveling. Remember, these little diamonds above them with the icon really tell you what type of a group that is. The green means friendly, and the money pouch is like a merchant or a trader. And in the town, there are several different locations we can go to. Master Hulan's Forge, the blacksmith, the town hall, the marketplace, the apothecary, and the inn. First place that I'm going to go is to the forge, because if we go into the forge and we click on the forge, it allows you to select someone to be a blacksmith as their profession. So the blacksmith is a nice profession, and I'll show you what we get for it. So if we choose Helga, for example, to be our blacksmith, I'm going to confirm it, and we say, okay, good. And what does that get for us? Well, if I open this up and I right-click on Helga, you see that being a blacksmith gives you strength +1. So she's up there. She's a strength-based character, so that is fantastic. You could do it with anybody that you care about strength with, so that would be Helga and Pendleton, most likely. Now, this central screen is the anvil. This is where you can take iron ore, of which we have 4, to make these recipes. And this is what you can make so far. You can make some throwing weapons, a shield, a targe, and some rags. Now, you might think, at least what I thought when I first saw this, oh, well, that's a big bunch of garbage. Actually, it's not. These rags are better than what we have. And by making items here, for example, if I wanted to make these rags, all I have to do is have the ingredients that you see in the central column. We need leather. We don't have enough. We have enough cloth, though. And over here is a preview of what you'll get, which is these rags, which is actually basic armor and gives you armor +10. And if I, for example, right-click on Chops, Chops has farmer's rags, which is armor +5. So the rags that we can craft are actually double as good as what we have right now. We start with very few recipes, but we can learn more. Now, the other thing that's great is you'll see here's a forge button, and to the right of it, there's a little icon here, and if we make this, we get knowledge progress. So you will get experience up in the knowledge area that will raise you up and allow you to get more knowledge points. The Targe, instead, though, gives you a new recipe that we can make in our compendium, as does the throwing hatchet, the knife, and the throwing sickle. So it's always good to craft something once because you get a benefit. This is a first-time craft benefit. Now, I'm not going to make anything now, but we've unlocked a new profession. Now, Master Hulan, the blacksmith, if we talk to him...
You can use my anvil. I can also repair your armor. Oh, and I'm looking to hire a skilled blacksmith, if you happen to know one.
So this is basically a quest that he's giving you to find a skilled blacksmith. You can also buy raw materials from him for 5 crowns each. We have 13 of those. Those are what allow you to repair after battle, but it's often better to come back to him to repair. Now, the repair button in this dialog box at the bottom center of the screen is grayed out because all of our stuff is fully repaired. If somebody had broken gear, there would be a broken shield icon in red on their character portrait. that would indicate that, but we're all good. You can also buy coal here that you use to forge powerful weapons and armor. We don't really need it right now, but that's where you can buy some. So this is important to state because it tricked me. I thought the blacksmith would sell weapons and armor, and they don't. Your best source of weapons and armor early game is from killing people. When you fight people, you get to take their gear. Sometimes you'll find treasure boxes, sometimes quest rewards, things like that, but generally it's from just fighting people and taking their stuff. Then, now that we have a blacksmith, if we get the ingredients, we can start making some good things, and then you can really pick what you want. But there really aren't shops to just go buy weapons and armor, so that's very important to have a blacksmith. I'm going to push escape. You can hold Alt. You see the only things we can interact with are Master Hulan and the Forge. I'm going to push escape to exit. Now, let me go to the apothecary. So the apothecary, if I hold Alt, you see we can talk to Lucerin, who's the lady working here at the apothecary, and we can also click here to craft. This unlocks the alchemist profession, and we can choose an alchemist. So, for example, our ranger, let's just say, confirm, become an alchemist. And let's click on this and see what does alchemy give you. Oh, no, wait. Chops. Sorry. Dexterity +1. And that's actually good because he's using a dexterity-based weapon. So you're trying to put your professions on people that it will benefit. Okay, so we're set. Remember, if you pick somebody and then you go look at what it actually does and you're like, oh my god, I don't like that, you can always just select a new profession with them. They will just start over at 0. And since we're so early, it's really not that big of a deal. Now, here's what we could craft right now. We could craft some throwing bombs, some oils, and medicine. Medicine is what you can use to heal injury after battle. You need vial, snow iris, and comfrey. These are things, not the vial, but these are things you can gather out growing in the wilderness. We don't have anything here that we can make. And medicine doesn't, because we already have some medicine, but a lot of these things will give you knowledge points if you craft them. So you could just take a look at what it's going to take and try to get these ingredients. You can also click on
my concoctions can heal the most grievous injuries. Be sure to hold on to the vials after using them.
Correct. So you could see what she sells. She sells a couple of scrolls for sharpening oil and strength oil, and these are nice oils that you can apply for a battle to give you 3 rounds of 50% damage, for example, with the strength thing, or the sharpening, which will give you critical hit +10. Nice boosts, but you can only learn these if you're an alchemist apprentice, which we are not. You have to level up to do that, and you get experience within your profession by crafting items that are relevant for you. So if you come here, you make stuff with your alchemist, you will level up and become an apprentice, and so on as you work up the ranks. Now, she also sells medicine, cure for the plague, which you need for quests or for other incidents, and she also sells her oils, fish oil as well, and you can see it says price temporarily reduced. So this is something we can actually buy very cheaply. So I'm going to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's half price. And she sells vials that you need for crafting. You can also come here to get healed if you need, but we don't. Everybody is at full health. I'm going to push escape and escape again. Now, I'm looking at the map, and we haven't gone to the market. Let's talk about this. The market is where you're really going to come and buy food. So these stalls, I'll hold Alt. You can see there's the meat vendor, and there's just the general vendor over here. We don't, until we make a cook pot and get a cook, this lady sells ingredients.
You buy it.
And she's hostile, like these apples or whatever. And when you mouse over the food, you can see how much food it will give us. For example, 2 in this case, and it's 3 crowns to get it. But things like salt is just an ingredient, or wheat is an ingredient. And if you have wheat and salt, for example, you can make bread, which is fantastic, but we need to cook, and we don't have that yet. So you can come here and buy those from her, but it's nice to just go over here to this dude.
Those refugees. I understand
there's a war in Edoran, but that doesn't mean they can just help themselves.
Indeed. And you can buy meat from this guy, and it gives you 4 food for 6, so it's the same rate. I like to have, mutton or whatever, just buy a little bit, and you can see your food meter will go up based on how much you have, and I've just purchased a little bit. I like to have food. He also sells salt. I'll push escape. And then there's Frisme, who you could talk to.
Take a look at my wares.
And he sells trading wares, and you could see he actually sells fish oil, but for full price. But you could buy leather from this dude, which is really, really useful because you want it for crafting. So, for example, if I buy like 3 leather, he also sells grease, a barber kit, and then these items here, amber, pottery, and woolen cloth, these are trade goods that you can transport, kind of like in Battle Brothers, where you can find places that might buy these for a profit, and as long as you're willing to travel, you can sell these in different regions, and you'll figure out like who is buying low or selling high, or you can hear this for a rumor, or sometimes these are quest items. But these are anything that says component in blue above the price at the bottom of the tooltip here is for crafting. So I could buy a little bit of hemp, for example. I'll buy 2 more leather. Then I'm going to push escape. There's also beggars here.
Please, can you spare some food?
So she needs food. And you can give bread, and you get 10 influence if you do this. So I'll give a bread, and
Thank you so much.
you can
I
see
will
our
pray for you.
our food goes down, but then you get a little bit of influence. So, you could trade food for influence with these people if you like. And I'm going to push escape to leave the market. Now there's the town hall, which is just the mayoress.
Are you mercenaries? I'll have you know that we do not take kindly to refugees in these parts.
Okay.
Why, you ask? Because they have overrun our streets and are now taking to the roads. Edoran is sending our way anything with legs and a mouth that cannot wield a sword.
Okay.
You have your work cut out for you. There is no lack of honest folk in need of help to fend off the refugee menace.
So she can give you some story, but that's about it for now. I'm going to leave. And we visit everything but the inn, and this is where the magic really happens. So, once you get to the inn, you can do several things here. You can recruit more people into your army. They are the ones sitting around in white. You can inspect them. You can talk to them. For example, I'll right-click this guy. He's a first-level ranger. If you want another ranger, you can go for it. You can see what skills he has, what gear he starts with, what are his stats, what's his profession, and so on. Then there's the lady in green, who is the emissary, and I'll click on her, left-click.
Might she be looking for work? Our role as emissaries is to ensure that all service requests are fulfilled. We regularly update our job offers.
So these are basically quests that replenish themselves that you can do to earn influence, money, rewards, and such. So these are definitely what we want to be doing. I'm going to click on review, the not hourglass, but spyglass. And you'll see there's some quests here. And let's talk about them. So first of all, it tells you what direction the quest is from where we are, which is nice. But they mark these on the map. These are easy to find. What you want to look at is, what is the quest? So you read the title and the description here. And you look at the difficulty and the reward. So these contracts, or these, quests is what I call them anyway, that you can do, you can only have 3 contracts at a time. So look through and figure out which ones you want. Now, I'm going to tell you straight away, rat infestation is a no. It says average. It's nightmarishly difficult at the beginning of the game. There's many, many rats, and they do a lot of damage, and they poison you, and there's poison clouds, and I found it to be terrifyingly hard, and only came back later to do that. So I wouldn't take that one. Too Many Ancients is also something that I think to be prohibitively difficult for somebody starting out. You could try it if you want, but what I recommend and what I do in my Let's Play is I go for the low-hanging fruit. I take all of the easy quests. So all of these contracts. This just is like the Vanquish quests. Vanquish Rander Rack's squad. So this is like there's some upstart that you need to go kill. So you just go fight this team of people, and if we kill them or defeat them, we get 190 crowns. So I'll accept it. This one says there's some hunters in the forest that need help. I'll accept it. And this one is vanquish the Manic gang. Now, these are random, these contracts, so yours will look different from mine, except I believe you'll always have Tomb of the Ancients and Rat Infestation as options, but take the easy ones. So now I've got 3 contracts. I can't take any more until I complete some, and I will close this. Now, if I push M to look at the map, you can see that each of the contracts, like I said, it's just marked on the map. So you can just navigate to these places if you want, which is super convenient. And then, additionally, there's this guy in purple who is the informant. I'll talk to him.
You. Yeah, you. You looking for work? I can give you tips and point you toward the best missions. The kind that pays much better than the measly rewards the Mercenary Guild has to offer.
So these are special quests or points of interest that you can buy from this guy, but he requires influence. So I think these are all worth doing. Some of them you can just discover on your own and you don't need to buy, but this will give you the location right away if you're interested. But I want to save my influence, so I'm not going to mess with this yet until I have a little bit more. I'm going to push escape. And, oh wait, never mind, I have to click here.
Of course. You'll then have to meet the client and meddle in other people's affairs. But at the end of the day, it's the number of crowns in your purse that counts, right?
Yes, that's right. Okay, I'm going to leave. So, the other thing you could do is talk to the innkeeper.
Say, it's not often you see new faces around here. Well, apart from the Edoranian war refugees, that is. Feel free to come back often. There's always folk looking for work around here, especially since all the fighting started across the border.
All right, so he gives you some options. You can rest here. So it costs 44 crowns to rest here. But the nice thing is if you rest here, you don't have to feed your people. It's just like the food is included. And when we rest, it will replenish this fatigue bar all the way. And also, we will get 3 Valor points from doing this. But we don't need to rest right now because we're at half. What you want to do is wait until this is 0 or as close to 0 as possible before you camp or rest so that you aren't wasting food or money. You can also sing if you have a loot, and we do not. But what I want to point out is you can buy cooking recipes from this guy, and then he sells this apple pancake. And this thing is great because it's 14 food and it's 30 crowns, and it reduces the speed at which your troops' fatigue stacks by 30%, and it lasts until you rest the next time. So it helps you stay out without resting for longer. So I always like to buy this. I'm going to right-click on it. And I'm going to push escape. And then now I'm going to inspect this guy by right-clicking. You can see he's a warrior with a huge 2-handed axe. And down here is a spearman. So I have currently a 2-handed weapon user, a sword and board, a ranger, and an archer. And honestly, I like the spearman. I love spearmen. Now, this spearman is a blacksmith, but that doesn't matter. Like, she can respec to a different profession, no problem. You could just leave her with this, because you get strength +1, but usually you want to have as many different professions represented so you can do all of the different things that the game provides you with your team. But I'm going to hire her, so let's see, what does it take for her to hire?
I am at your service, provided you pay me handsomely.
So to hire her, it's going to take 30 influence, which is why I'm saving my influence, and 60 crowns. And then she'll need wages, so if I inspect her, you can see her wages over here under her attributes, and they're 14 crowns, which is fine. She also eats 3 food, which is good. So her wages are reduced. Less profession experience, though. is not great, but it's profession. It's not her spearman. It's her job. So, you know, I'm okay with this, and I'll recruit her. Great. And so now you could see that Eniga has joined the troop, and the companions happily welcome her. And now we have 5 party members. Awesome. So at this point, we have a 5th member, 6 if you include the pony, and I'd like to get more people, but we don't have the money to support this. We have wages that are greater than the amount of money that we actually have. So what that means is, let's see, I might need to sell some stuff. Alright, so we got this damaged dagger, which gives poisoning, but I don't want that. I prefer the dagger that I have. So I'm actually going to go into town. And you could sell this to anybody, by the way. It doesn't matter.
You can use my anvil.
So we can sell
You
this
can also repair your armor.
damaged dagger. You can
And I'm
right-click
looking
and you
to
can
hire
sell
a
it for
skilled
20. But
blacksmith. If
what's
you happen
better
know
to
one.
sell while we're talking about selling stuff, and I just want to have enough money to pay wages if they become due while I'm out adventuring before I complete a contract. You can see it says rests before next wages 3. So it's 3 rests and you pay. I don't think I'll need it, but just in case, and this gives us the opportunity to talk about selling. I'm going to sell this. These trinkets, these common trinkets, this is basically like garbage that you sell. That's what that is code for. So you sell that. If it says component, well, probably don't sell that unless you have 1 million and you're not using it. But you don't know necessarily which components that you want to hold on to, so I don't sell anything. Now, I am going to sell this dagger. It's not that great. Anybody that I would get who comes into the party who would be a ranger using a dagger would have their own dagger, most likely. And poisoning is good, but I prefer ambush and the skills that open up, like, I'll show you right here. The stab skill. So I like stab because it gives you the ambush. It gives you that extra crit damage from behind, and that's just what I prefer. Poisoning is fantastic, but I want to kill them in one turn, not kill them and then have them die over time from poison. Poison and bleeds are fantastic on targets that you can't kill in one turn, but my problem with them in this game, at least this is just me, they're not bad. It's just that poison, as you can see here in the tooltip that pops out, it deals a percentage of your dexterity damage and applies poison, and poison does 5% of their max health. So the attack itself does 70% to 90% of your dexterity and damage and applies 1 poison. And for each stack, I think they lose 5% of their health. But the deal is, it's at the end of their turn. So if poison triggered at the beginning of their turn, I would have a totally different view of it. But because you could take someone down to 1, and then they have poison, and you know they're going to die, but they still get to attack you, it loses a lot of value in my eyes that they get to act on their turn, and they aren't killed by the poison until after. The same thing for bleeding. So, again, it's not bad. It's great on targets that have a lot of health that you're not going to take down, but I just prefer to take things out fast, so I'm going to sell that. But, you know, your mileage may vary. You might be all about it, and there are certain skills and abilities and other things that benefit as we get leader from poison, but that's for further down the road. Now I'm going to push M and go to the map, and I'm just going to look at these quests. And this quest is super close, and it's right next to this quest. So I like to kind of do things in groups. These are both fight quests. So let's go over here and vanquish the Mayanic gang right here. So I'm going to do this. Now, if I push map, let's see here. I'm going to head toward this area right here. And it is over to the east. Now, I was trying to put a pin on the map. I swear you could, but I'm Maybe I'm misremembering how to do it. Anyway, this is not the right way. So I'm going to rotate the map and go this way. And that's still not the right way. How about this way? There we go. Oh, boy. Yeah, okay. So here's my mistake. I'm trying to go based on the picture, and I just need to be using directions. So this is northeast, so let's just point the compass at the top center of the screen to northeast. My navigation skills are legendary, trust me. All right, when you're on the map, pick up anything that you see. It's got a little glint to it. You can zoom in and out on this world map with the mouse wheel, but not very much. It's pretty minimal. I'm going to go over here. There's a dead body. I'll inspect it. And, hey, 14 crowns. Well, we were talking about having enough money for our wages. Now we definitely do. And here's the quest right here. So I do recommend saving the game. Just go ahead and save it, and we're going to call this contract. This is a hard game, and things can go wrong in battle, or you cannot understand how something is going to work. It's up to you how you play this out, but I like to save before a fight, unless I know it's going to be a cakewalk. And you see they have the little quest icon, the contract above their head, and they're in red, meaning bad guy, and we just walk over to them, and we trigger a combat screen. Now this screen says that Manic is the ringleader, and there's him, and then there's a hoodlum and a poacher. So we're fighting 3 people, and we get 190 crowns if we win, and we're going to do it. Plus all the loot that we get from the fight itself, which is fantastic. All right. So they get this buff, and I'll click on the hoodlum called Leader's Aggression, which means, you know, it changes based on which leader it is, I believe, and this is giving him a 30% crit chance, which is a shame. So what I want to do with my team, and remember, they put them out randomly, circling them. We get 2 actions before this hoodlum acts right here, and then 4 actions before, and then Manic is going to go last. And let's look at the morale bar. I'm actually going to try and kill this hoodlum, if possible, to boost our morale so that we get galvanized, and then try and kill Manic right away. A lot of the times what I do in these fights is I just try to kill the ringleader, and often that will do so much morale damage that the other guys will just run away. But in this case, I don't know if that's going to happen, and this hoodlum gets to act after just 2 actions. Now, we're very early, so I might not have the gear to and the experience to be able to kill them in 1 turn. Remember, we chose the scenario type where we will level up and the region will have a set level. The enemies won't scale with us. So eventually, we will start getting way more powerful than the lower level guys here, and we'll be able to just slaughter them. But that's just not where we're at. So, I'm going to look at chops, and we can do 7 to 9 damage, but more if we crit. Helga can come in and hit, but she only has Wrath. And I might actually... So what I look for to kill somebody fast is extra attacks. And Pendleton is the only person I believe that leveled up, and he has this poisoned impact. So what we can do is come in and hit, and then poisoned impact, and get 2 attacks in on the hoodlum, try to take them down, and then have chops come in from behind. So I'm going to put everybody up like this. Okay. And Pendleton, can you reach? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to have Pendleton go this way on the right side of this hoodlum, so that the hoodlum should turn around to engage, and chops will get the stabbing bonus. Theoretically. Let's see how this goes. So I'm actually going to kind of move up like this, just to get a little bit further away. And I'm going to ram right here. And then I'm going to... we are engaged, so that's fantastic. Poison this guy. I don't even really need to do this, to be perfectly honest with you. It's overkill, what we're going to do, but this allows me to change my plans a little bit. And remember, you don't get to keep your Valor points after the battle, so it's okay to use them. Alright, so this person is poisoned. No, I'm sorry. You see how it applies poison if they're bleeding. This is kind of what I was talking about with the poison before. Like some of the abilities combo or synergize with other status effects, so it just does pure damage right now. But honestly, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Wrath right now. I'm going to use all my Valor points just to kill this guy. Now, why would I do that? I have no Valor points left. Well, to be honest, most of my people don't have a Valor attack anyway, and Valor is harder for us to come by at this stage of the game. But when we go further, we're going to be getting Valor much, much easier. We get talents, traits, skills, abilities, and things that generate Valor. For example, just by engaging an enemy, you'll get Valor. And you'll have more to use. This guy just had 2 that he could use, and this will allow me... He's done now. I mean, I can move him, but minimally. I now have 3 actions before this guy goes. But I'm not going to bother with him. He's going to hit me. I'm going to accept it. And I'm just going to use all of my Galvanize to try and kill the leader. So I'm going to run in with Helga and engage right here. Try and turn this guy around. And we're going to slice this guy. Okay. So he's definitely engaged. Space. And then, how far can you move? Okay. I'm not sure if they'll count this as behind. I don't think that they will. So in that case, I'm going to see... Okay. So this is why I love spears. The spear does 6 damage. That doesn't look like a lot. But it says damage is doubled if used from a distance. So what you do is you right-click on the spear, and you do something like this. So remember, like here, the circle in blue is the area of influence or the range of my spear attack. And even though it's crossing into that red striped box underneath the leader, this will not hit him. The arrows under their feet have to be lit up like this. When I move just a little bit closer, do you see those 4 red arrows under their feet? That means they are in range. This would be in range, though. So I'm actually going to move here, be nice and far away, and I can use my spear and do double damage. And you see the attack preview above them indicates that. It says I'm going to do 10 damage to this fool. We actually did 13 because we crit and because we're galvanized. So we attacked from range, we did a bunch of damage, and we were galvanized. So that's very nice. And this person is almost done. I am going to move them back just slightly so that there's plenty of room for people to get through. I'm going to push spacebar. And now, Chops, can you get here? Chops can get there, but this wouldn't be an attack from behind. So it's up to either my Archer or Chops to finish the deal. Now, the Archer should be able to do this. I'm going to right-click on Shoot, and if I move... I'm going to try to move here. This still might be friendly fire situation. It is... Yeah, it's 50-50, actually, which is terrifying. So that's unfortunate. I hate to see that. I'm actually not going to attack. So, this attack right here, there's a 41%, it's like 59-41 or something like that, that I hit Helga. And the reason I don't want to hit Helga is obviously I don't want to hit her and do damage to her, but it also causes negative relationships to happen when you get friendly fire, and I don't want that. So, instead, I'm just going to end her turn. This guy will get to act. he does 4 damage, but it's an armor hit. That's not that bad. And now I'm going to move in, and I'm going to do my attack. Now, this will not kill this guy, but it's really close. Oh, I crit. Okay, it only would have killed him if we crit, and we did. A couple of things happened there. Number one, we got the gluttonous trait, I believe it was. I'm going to look at it. Or maybe it was the glorious trait. I'm going to look at it. It started with a G. It was some superlative adjective that started with a G. But in this moment, additionally, we killed enough to demoralize the enemy. So we got to this, our blue morale line went all the way to this second indicator here, and this guy wants to run away. But I'm not going to let him run away because I want to have a chance to get all of his gear. And we get to act basically twice before he gets to go. So we can neutralize this guy. I'm going to move in behind this guy. Remember, by engaging an archer, you pretty much hamstring them. And we do almost all of the damage that this guy can handle here. And then this should kill the guy right here. Well, close. We didn't. We didn't crit. Okay, that's fine. So he's going to punch somebody. He hits us for 1 damage. But it's worth taking 1 damage so that we can... I'm trying to see, can I get to a square? No, this is the wrong person to use. I'm going to use my spear person. This will finish it. You could move down here if you want to get this like crafting item, that flower. Anyway, we can repair our stuff. You can see that we have damaged armor. But I'm not going to do it because... Oh, fine, I am going to do it because I'm going to go fight another fight. I would go back to town and do this, but let's just do it. We need to rest. And right here, you can see that we got the Ringleader's Dagger, which gives Dex +7 and the Devious Whirlwind skill. Now, this is not the stabbing skill that I really, really like, but it does an AoE and it gives Dex +7. So it's a 2-star level 1 item, so it is an improvement. So I'm going to take everything. I'm going to repair the equipment. And then Helga has leveled up, so I'm going to click on her and we can level her up. Now, at this point, we have some choices, and I'll tell you what. Movement is at 2 pluses, which means we get +2 movement. Do not sleep on movement. It doesn't affect your stats, but being able to move further in battle is so critical. This is what this affects. How far can you move each turn? So I will definitely level that up for her. She's my tank. I need her to get in there and engage particular targets. Now, of these choices, we could take Protector, we could take Fighter, and we could take Swordmaster. Now, of these, these two, Protector and Fighter, are both in heavy armor, and that's what I want. They both give Constitution +2. This gives a damage ability, which destabilizes, and this gives encouragement, which gives protection. Protection is very good, but I like having a damage ability for Valor points. It's something I always try to prioritize, is being able to trade Valor points for damage so I could kill targets quickly. Like, this is very good for protecting yourself, but even better for protecting yourself is just having them be dead. And destabilizing them reduces their guard to 0, which is kind of fantastic to make them so they don't really mitigate your damage. So I'm going to make her a fighter. I'm going to say, okay. And we did that. Now, I'm also going to go into Chops, and we're going to right-click and equip this dagger. So you'll see his skill changes to this ability. Now, this thing does 8 damage to everybody in a circle, and it also, if you hit more than one unit, you create a cloud of poison under them, which is very good, but you have to watch out because if you walk through your own cloud of poison, you will get poisoned. So it's like a hazard on the battlefield that you have to avoid, and we'll talk about that when we see it in battle. But we also get 50 experience, 11 influence, and we can now turn this in for 190. So you see in the upper right, the green money underneath your money pouch is like how much money you have waiting for you if you go talk to the emissary. Now, we're just about out of fatigue, or we just about are fatigued is what I should say. So I'm going to push C to bring up our camp. We need to rest. Now, at the campsite, we have a workshop because we have a tinkerer. And the campsite is a game in and of itself. It's so awesome. There's a monolith, which you can use if you have a scholar, but we don't. There's our pony, and then there's the campfire. So every person, and if you look at the campfire, if you mouse over it, on the tooltip in the upper right, it says 4 out of 4. That means 4 of your party members can go around the campfire, and everybody around the campfire gets +1 happiness. You can have up to 15 happiness, and the higher it is, you get benefits. Like, if we rest here around the campfire, our happiness will go up to 9, and we will get +1 max valor point, which is great. And if we put somebody, one person can work at the workshop who is a tinkerer, and they can produce 2 spare parts, what I just used to repair every time we rest. So you get 2 for free. So let me find my tinkerer here. It's right here, and you just kind of pick them up. You hold left click and you drag them over around it until it says 1 out of 1, and you see him like working with his hammer there. Now he's working. Now Annie needs to go around the fire, and we can put her here. You just drag her onto the fire until she sits down and relaxes, and it says 4 out of 4. The other thing, though, you can do at the workshop is you can actually use it. You can right-click it, and it says select a tinkerer, so you can make somebody a tinkerer if you didn't, if you want to. But I don't. I'm fine right now, and I have one. I'm going to say confirm, and you can make these items that you have materials for. So we can make a lockpick, we can make a fish hook, and it takes iron to do these things. Now, iron is very precious, but I'm going to make each one of these. Why? Because, as I said, you get knowledge the first time you craft something. And lockpicks are super useful. So I'll make 1 lockpick. Okay. And we get the first time craft bonus of discovery, which gave us an extra knowledge point. It says progress made in your discoveries has earned you a knowledge point. So, fantastic. Then I'm going to go to the fish hook, and I'm going to craft 1. This allows you to fish if you have a fishing person, and we get that craft bonus. Look at that. We got 80 out of 120 knowledge experience by doing that. So that was super worth it. We can also make rope because we bought that hemp, which is why I like to just have all of the, ingredients and buy them. I'm going to craft it, and boom, we leveled up again. We just got a 2nd knowledge point, and now we're cooking with gas. We can also make a python, which allows you to descend from steep hikes. So there are certain environmental things where it's like, hey, you need this climbing tool to go down here. Or, you need this rope, or you need a fish hook to do stuff. So it's good to have these things, and I'm just making it to give us experience. And we've almost leveled up again, just making that. Okay, so that's good enough. The next thing, we definitely want a cook pot as fast as possible. We'd love to have a tent as well. All of these things are good. Hitching post, camp chest, these are all... If you build these camping gear things, it puts another workstation at your campsite, something that you can have people interact with, and they all provide benefits. You can have this like tricked out campsite. It's awesome as we go. So I'm going to click on the compendium in the bottom right, or you can click up here, push G, and we now have knowledge points to spend. But I will point out, you can also go to your workshop and you can learn how to make saddlebags, or you can go to your anvil and you can learn how to make some of these recipes here, but you have to unlock them by crafting stuff first. And anyway, what we want to do is go to the knowledge screen, and oh, this is why I couldn't put a pin. I was like, boy, you used to be able to put a pin on the map. No, I forgot that. This game has all this stuff where you can put pins if you learn this. There are these quality of life functionality that you actually get from knowledge, which is pretty funny. like location markers or some of these things which help you. We can't see them yet, but anyway, that's one that I really, really like. But I'm actually going to learn career plans. So many of these are very, very good. Running is the first one I take. Career plans is down here in advanced knowledge. It takes 2 points, but now that we have 2 points, I'm going to get it. What this does is it lets you spend influence, so when you level up, you can put extra pluses on an aptitude. So, it's random, like which aptitude has pluses when you level up. Like, for example, we just leveled up Helga, and she had 2 pluses on movement. But if you spend influence, you could put 2 pluses on the skill that you want, or the attribute that you want. So if it's a strength person, and they only got 1, you can spend to get an extra one, so you get 2 points when leveling up. Or if they have none, you could spend a bunch and get 2. And this really gives you more customization over your characters and makes it less random. So I love this, so I'm going to learn career plans. But you better believe that I'm going to get location markers soon because I'm terrible. Rationing is also very good. It makes people eat less, and what does that mean? Well, we'll see in a moment. So now I did that, and I'm going to eat. So to sleep, what you have to do is right-click on the campfire, and it goes to the rest screen. And it tells you right now, if we rest, we're going to lose 12 happiness because nobody's eating. So what you do is you just kind of move food over, just like in Baldur's Gate, until you fill this up. We need 21 food. This goes up based on how many people you have in your party. I'm going to right-click to put this because I want the bonus. And then it doesn't really matter what food that you give them unless people have particular dietary needs. But I'm going to do this. Well, no, I'll give them some mutton. I'll give them a variety. And this is more food than we need, but this is fine. And this will make it so that I'll push rest. Now, it is worth noting, danger level 10%. This means that you can get ambushed when you're trying to sleep at a 10% clip. So try to camp on the road or in a clearing. Don't camp in the forest. It becomes more dangerous. I'm going to click rest, and we're resting, and you see the fatigue bar fill up, and then once it's full, boom. We're well rested. We gained 2 valor points. We got +4 happiness, and our happiness is now 9, which increases our max valor points by 1. And we produce 2 raw materials because of our tinkerer at the workshop, and we say continue, and now we're rocking and rolling. So it's time to go take on the next contract and continue getting money, getting more people in our group, and learning more about the game. And we'll get into that in the next episode. Everyone, I hope you're still finding this series on Wartales to be useful and fun. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.